Hello again and welcome back to our AutoCAD series. Now, for our class, we use a textbook called Learning AutoCAD Using Paper Pencil Sketches. Now, our textbooks have been beat up, used a lot, and a couple of years ago I thought, instead of checking them out, I'm actually going to just scan in certain pages that the kids need when they're using AutoCAD instead of the ones they need when they're doing their pencil sketches, and put them online so they're not trying to juggle a book on top of their keyboard, on top of their, mouse. So we're going to show you how we expect you to do that right now. So first off, I've opened AutoCAD, I've come up to a blank screen, the default screen, and I'm just looking at it. Now, like I said, I don't use the grid ever, so one of the first things I always do is I just turn the grid off. But in our case, we're going to do some drawings. So I'm actually going to open up the PDF file. We're going to show you a sample of one. This is just one of the pages out of ours. Now, it's set up for using AutoCAD or AutoCAD Lite. The way the book reads is it gives you directions, it gives you a heading, gives you some directions, and talks to you about drives and labeling and those kind of things, and then gives you step-by-step instructions on how to follow the tutorials. Now, usually what it starts with is it says step, and then it tells you what to do. Anytime, and like if you look at ours right here, it'll tell you, for example, if I type L and enter, it'll tell us literally that backwards slash right there is the enter key. If you look at your enter key on your keyboard, it should have the same symbol on it. Basically, we're going to say that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow, and we're going to follow the directions to do that. So I will be going back and forth when I'm actually doing this between this image and AutoCAD. Now, with the image in the PDF file, there's usually, and this is just one of the second pages, there's usually a picture of what it is you're actually drawing. Okay, and it'll refer to the figure. Now, the figure number right here may not necessarily be on the same page that your instruction or step number is. In fact, it might be a page or two over in some cases just because of the number of graphics involved. So as you're looking at it, it'll say refer to figure like 5-1, and you'll have to go, okay, where's 5-1? You have to pay attention to the figure and look at it. Some of the stuff's intuitive, some of it you need to follow the directions very explicitly to make it work. But basically all we're trying to do is we're trying to get you comfortable using AutoCAD, and as you get going and you can draw stuff all on your own, you get a picture like this where you've got an orthographic view with an auxiliary view, and you say, oh, I can draw that, and we'll just let you go at that point and say draw it. Okay? So as we get going, we want to pay attention to that. Now, for most of the stuff we're doing, you will open up exercise files to begin. Now, I'm going to show you how to open up an exercise file while we're at this. If I go to the Open, under the Exercises, instead of going to the My Documents folder, I will go down to the Shared drive. Right here it says Shared, and it's the S drive, and right here under it you'll find a Benson folder, and in there you'll find in our Pre-Engineering section the AutoCAD exercises. So I just open up those folders in that order, and there's the exercises we ask you to do. So we'll start with 6.1, and we work our way all the way down through about 20-3. But most of these exercises are just step-by-step, like we said, out of that text, and it works really well. Now, this warning will pop up every time. It says, AutoCAD alert, this is read only. You cannot save to the S drive. It makes it so that you cannot accidentally overwrite the original file. You have to use this file, do as a save only, and then save it back to yours. Now, you'll pop it up, you'll look at it like this, and it'll say, okay, the first instruction it gives me on the worksheet is type in Z for zoom and A for all, and it zooms out to fill the whole page. Now it centers it. Next thing it's going to tell me to do is tell me to attach a line to the end, and it'll tell me to type in end of our point right here. Now, if you have your running O-snaps on, notice that my O-snap was already there before I started. So I don't actually have to type the end, but I did. Now, it might also tell me to put in an ortho lock, but normally it'll actually tell me to enter a coordinate. In this case, it'll tell me to do something like at, say, 6 inches less than 180 degrees. And I'll punch that in, and then I'll type in like at 2.75, say less than, that's 270, is that 270 down? Yes. See, and then I'll go back over this way. Now, again, you'll notice I went too long. Well, if you know what you're doing with the CAD system, you can actually go in and fix the problem without having to sort it out. Now that you know exactly how big everything is, you can just draw it. Now, like I said, I'm not really worried about how you get the solution. If you can skip the steps and draw it your way so it makes sense to you, but still get the right solution on the screen so it's yours and it's your actual drawing, not to be confused with your neighbor's actual drawing, but you didn't follow the step-by-step, you did it like you said, okay, well, I already know that this line's supposed to go out this far, and I know that this line's got to line up this way, instead of having to type in the ats and the go-tos and all that stuff, and I can say, okay, I just need to trim off, like say that part, that piece, and that piece. If you can figure out that stuff and just draw the way it makes sense to you, I'm happy with it. It's just I want the right solution. I want it to be your work, your own work, and I want you to understand how you drew it. That's what we're looking for. Now that's your intro to this. This is the first part of the first part. It's actually not completed. We'll give you a demo on how to do it following the text in a little bit. But for right now, I just want you to make sure you know how to open up one of the exercise files, and I want you to make sure you know how to save one of the exercise files back to your drive. That said, here's the last piece of this. Whenever I go to finish, I can either type in save as, or I can go up to the pull down and click save as. But I always want to make sure I save this as to my own username. In your case, it'll show up as your student number. It is your U drive. In fact, if you look at it right here, and you can pull that out all the way, it shows it as the U drive. Okay, like if I go to my computer, I'm going to pull this out a little farther so you can see what the drive names are. That'll say your student name right there, in your case your student number, and it is the U drive or U colon. That's your network drive. That's where you save all your work. It doesn't get lost. It's safe there forever until we delete it at the end of the school year or you do. So thank you, and we'll let you get back to work on your stuff.